窓から覗き込んだ下界を駆け抜ける勇者よ何が好きか嫌いか互いの情入念
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Anime Degens podcast. And as you can see, it's just me here by myself. And that's because this week we're actually going to be talking about the winter season, kind of checking in on it. I wouldn't really call it a first impressions episode, even though it kind of is, because like a lot of the shows, or like quite a few shows this season, started out with 2 episodes, a 2-episode premiere or a long premiere. So some shows are like 4, 5, 6 episodes in already. Some shows is like 3 episodes in. You know, it's all over the place this season. So, but like I said, we're going to be talking about the winter season. It's pretty stacked. I thought it was going to be a very stacked season with just sequels alone. But it turns out that we got a lot of new shows that are pretty good. So, it's too early to tell right now, but honestly, like, it's shaping up to be a season that could compete with summer 2025. Because I'm watching, I think I'm watching like, 20 shows right now, I believe. And I want to check out like 1 or 2 more, but all 20 of those shows, like, I've got rated pretty high. Like, there's only a few 7s. The rest of them are like 8s. There's a couple 9s as of right now, and there's a few 10s already. So, but before we get started today, I just want to let y'all know the best way to support us, like always, is come to the YouTube channel where I'm talking, where you can see my video right now if you wanted to. I got it up there. But come to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to us, follow us, whatever you want to call it. Like the videos when you're watching. You know, you can even comment, talk to us, talk to me on there. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting for y'all to, you know, let me know what y'all's top shows of the winter is so far and all that good stuff. So, but also, as y'all know, it's DG's time. It's Anime Awards time. It's almost time for me to close the poll down. So make sure y'all get y'all's votes in as soon as possible. We only got like a week left. I think I'm going to shut it down on, let's see. I think I'm going to shut it down on like, February 7th or 8th, probably. That'll be like the last call for the DGs, the voting or whatever. So y'all have a few more days to get your votes in, because the next DGen episode will be the DGs actually. So that should be a fun time. So hopefully y'all are ready for that. Let's get into the winter season. You know, that's what we're all here for right now. We're here for listen to me talk about the winter season and all the shows. So this is how I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to talk about all the new shows that I'm watching right now and kind of give, like, I'm going to try to be as spoiler free as I can. Like, there's going to be a lot of spoilers because, like, I'm going to be talking about the stuff that happens in the first couple episodes, because, like, I feel like that's fair game. But I'll try to leave out like spoilers after the first couple episodes because, you know, that's when we're starting to get into the deeper stuff and all that good stuff. So like I said, these will have a lot of spoilers, just for the first couple episodes. Kind of like a first impression style episode is how I'm treating it. And then after the new shows get done, I'm going to try to just talk briefly about some of the sequels that I'm watching. I know there's quite a few. I'm not going to go into, you know, into them very much, into them very deep. but I will talk about them a little bit. So, but it's mostly about the new shows now. Trying to figure out, like, trying to let people know, what's good out there. What's my, top shows and all that good stuff. I'm gonna start with a show called Wash It All Away, and so this one is about a woman who apparently has her memories. She has amnesia or something. She doesn't remember her past, and she just runs a small cleaning slash laundromat kind of deal in a small town in Japan, and that's basically it. Like, she just like cleans clothes. She runs around doing errands and stuff like that. But I think one thing that stands out a lot to me is Kinmei, who is the main character. She's such a good character for a show like this. Like, she's so kind. Like, she works very hard. She tries her best to make everyone happy. She's a people pleaser. Like, she just wants people to be happy. She wants people to count on her, count on Kinmei cleaning, and I think it's a really fun show. And like, I wouldn't have ever expected me to enjoy an anime about washing clothes. Like, it's washing clothes. Like, what can be so good about that? It's not just about like washing clothes. Like, it's just about like the chill aspect of it. Like, this is a show that you just sit down and you chilling. You're expecting good vibes, and so far you've gotten good vibes. But there is a couple of things that kind of scares me. One of them being, the memory thing with Kinmei, because that honestly just feels like we're gonna get some kind of sad backstory happening. We already got like little touches of it here and there, but I feel like I'm gonna cry over the show, which is kind of crazy since it's been so chill so far. Another thing, the second thing I don't really care for. Well, no, the memory thing. It's fine if they do that. It it might be pretty good actually. I don't know. It depends on how they spin it. But I just feel like it's gonna happen. But one thing I don't like about this show is that they try to force in fan service for some reason. And like, I'm not a big fan of that. I've never been a huge fan of fan service. And like, I understand, why it's in some shows, and I understand why people like it and all that stuff. But for a show like this, that's like borderline Iyashiki, like it feels like Iyashiki vibes. And for a show like this to have fan service just thrown in with like no reason for it to be there, it kind of throws the vibes off, I guess you could say. Because like, I'm not watching it for that. Like, most people that watch this show isn't watching it for that reason. They're watching it because they like the atmosphere, like the vibes. They like Kinmei. They like what's going on with the show, and so it's just kind of weird, like a weird decision that they throw in fan service and stuff. But it is what it is. They only do it every once in a while, so like, I can overlook it. So another thing is it's kind of that another weird thing that they kind of do that I'm not a big fan of is that they keep making jokes about, like, they keep having different characters make jokes about Kinmei falling in love with the high school boy. And even like, it's both sides. Like, they make jokes to Kinmei and they make jokes to the high school boy. So it's kind of like it's preparing us for that to happen eventually. And that would honestly be super tragic because like, I think he's like a early high schooler and she is a adult. So it doesn't need that, so like, I'm kind of worried about that, honestly. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but So far it's been good. Like I said, if you're a fan of chill shows, super nice characters, then you should obviously check this out. It's not gonna be for everyone, but if you're looking for like a Iyashiki vibes, but not an Iyashiki, because apparently it's not tagged that way on Mal or anything. Just check this out. I think even though it's about a laundromat or a laundry store or whatever, washing clothes and stuff, it's still a fun time. I think I'm really enjoying this one. So now we got Sentenced to Be a Hero, our second show of the night. And this had a really long first episode, honestly, but it was actually pretty good. And like I watched the trailer for this one, and it seemed like it was gonna be a good time. Like it had a really good animation and stuff like that. I didn't want to believe that it actually was looking that good until I actually seen the show. And this first episode blew it away. Like it was honestly so good looking. It went insane. I think it's Studio Kai, so they done a really good job. And they've honestly kept it going. Like there's always times where animation dips off after the first little bit or whatever, but this one has been consistent so far. But what really sticks out about this one is like the premise of it. It's pretty unique. It's like there's heroes in this world. This is like a dark fantasy vibe type show or whatever. And like there's heroes in this world, but the heroes aren't your normal ordinary heroes. They're actually like being a hero is actually like the worst form of punishment in this world, because like you're made to do all the dangerous and shitty jobs, like fighting the demons and all that stuff. And like if you die, you just get brought back to life to do it all over again. And like every time that they die, they kind of lose a little bit of themselves, so they can potentially go crazy. And like there's one character in the show that's actually like that way right now, which is interesting to see. But there's also like they also set it up too, showing like the backstory of Xalo, our main character, how he isn't really a criminal, that he was just kind of set up in a way or something like that. So it's kind of like turning out to be like a revenge anime, kind of a revenge story. So or at least he's wanting to figure out like who set him up, like who's behind what happened to him or whatever. So but like it's just interesting, because like how's he gonna do that when he's like bound to by the hero standards or whatever, right? Like if they don't follow along with the orders, they just kill them or whatever and revive them. Like they just make them go through hell basically, because they still feel all these pains. They still die. Like they still feel the feeling of dying. It's just that they get brought back to life to redo, like do it all over again. So, but honestly, like besides like the animation, the best thing about this show is the goddess that we see in the first like episode or whatever. Her name's Tirita. She's like a blonde goddess. I knew that she was gonna be fun, and she is. She's super fun. I love her so much. And like I've been watching the dubbed of this show, even though the subbed is really good, but the dubbed, like I try to find a show or two each season that has a good dub, and I'll watch that. That way I can just like chill and not have to read so much or whatever. And this has been that, because this dub is phenomenal. And Terita's voice actor, she is great. She makes her so much better. All she wants is like the most head pats in the world, and like the praising and all that stuff. So she really fits the vibes of Terita, the goddess. So and I feel like the dub is even better when it comes to just her. Like all the rest of the characters are good too, but like the dubbed version of Terita is peak. Honestly, I love it so much. But that's about all I got for this one. I said the action goes hard. If you're looking for like that dark fantasy, that that show that you want to watch to get your action in, like it's got hella action. Um, like I think this is a must watch for people like that that's wanting those kind of dark fantasy vibes, and the action people. I definitely think that this is it. This is the new show of the season that has all that. So next one we got is Journal with Witch or Ikaku Nikki. This is my top new show of the season. I really, really enjoy it. I had really high hopes for it at the beginning of the season, and I was hoping that like this story would be like beautiful, and I was right. Like it's so good. It's so beautiful. This is just as good as I imagined it would be. I honestly love shows like this because like it's a nice drama with sad moments, because both of the characters, both the main characters, Asa and Makio, they're experiencing being alone in their own separate ways, and I think like this show, it's actually showing them like learning to live with each other while dealing with their own situations, um, which is kind of real, like this is I feel like this show does a really good job at kind of showing real life, situations, like how people some people process grief, like how some people, are live the way they do, and like how they like come together. Like there's a lot of situations that are so realistic in this. And I think one of the things that I really really like about this show is like the voice acting work. Like it's actually phenomenal. We have Miyuki Sawashiro, who plays Makio, and she's actually been around for a while, and she's a great voice actor. Um, so I expected pretty good things from her, but then we have a newer voice actor. Her name is Fuko Mori, and she honestly doesn't have a lot of shows under her belt. She's only been like background characters, and like I think she has like a two supporting characters or something like that. And so this is her first main character role as Asa, and she's actually like doing a better, like she's my favorite voice actor in this show, honestly. She can also sing, which is pretty cool. Like the beginning of the first episode was amazing. Like I can't get over the fact how good that actually was. The opening scene or of the first episode was uh it really showed off her vocal talent. So but there's only like with a show like this, I feel like it's pretty good that it only has a few important characters. Cause like I said, shows like this, like if you have too many characters, I feel like it kind of like the emotions and the heavy feelings and like everything that we're talking about, it'll kind of get lost in like the all the characters. Like you have to learn about all these characters. So this show, I think it does a really good job at keeping the character count low. Like there's only a few people that matter in this show, and that's obviously Makio, Asa, maybe her parents, like Makio's sister, Asa's mom or whatever, uh, because she like plays a direct role in between those two characters, and like some of Makio's best friends and like her ex or whatever, and even Asa's best friend. Like that's honestly like all we need. I really hope we get to see more of those people though. But I really hope that they don't add like a whole lot more people to the mix, because then like things might start getting a little too hectic for a show like this. It needs to be, focus on what it's been focusing on, which makes it such a good show. So, um, and like I said, like I mentioned before, I love how like the the emotions and like the situations that happen are kind of like realistic. Like after her parents died or whatever in a car accident, she doesn't want everyone at school to know like about her parents dying because she wanted to be treated like she was normal. And like that, I feel like that's a pretty, realistic reason. Like that's something that happens in real life. Like when I've had people, pass away or whatever, obviously this is different for, everyone, but I feel, I relate to Asa. Like I really don't want to be looked at differently because, uh, people have passed away or whatever. Um, like I just want to be treated normally. I feel like for me that's the best way for me to move on or whatever. And like I related a lot with Asa here. So but Makio on the other hand, I really like her way of parenting, I guess you can say. I don't know if I'd call it parenting. It's just like being the adult in the situation, I guess. Being leading Asa into better choices, I guess. Because like she just talks to her and like gives her like all the information that she might need or that she wants, but then she actually lets Asa make the decision, make the choice on what she wants to do. And I think that's a really cool thing to do, considering like what her mother or Asa's mother used to be. She used to be so strict and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see Makio be that person for her and like support her and give her like information, but not to be overbearing. So, um, and I think it helps Asa a lot, because she's not used to that sort of thing. But I can't really talk about too much more. Like I said, this is a great drama. This is my number one new show of the season, my favorite anime of the season. It's an easy 10 so far, and will honestly probably be top 5 anime of this year for me, probably, unless other things come out that kind of just blow this away. But it's it's hard to see anything else like hitting this close to this sort of stuff for me. Like this is the kind of shit I like. Like this is like a drama show that's gonna make you cry and talk about real shit and shit that I can relate to. And like I feel like this is a must watch if you have any interest in drama shows. And even if you watch like slice of life or maybe even romance shows, like I feel like you might need to check this out because like it's just that good. Unless you just can't handle the sadder themes, which it does have some sad themes in this, but it's not too crazy yet, anyways. But I just like it. I like it so much. So we got Ch- Cham, Champignon Witch. I have no idea how to say that. Anyways, um, it's another show about witches, except for this time, there's actually a magical witch. Um, and this show also seems sort of sad. The witch can't like come in contact with anyone, which is kind of tragic because she just seems like she wants to be normal. She wants to be treated like she's normal and stuff. So, um, some of the best things about this show is honestly like the little cow or bull and the sheep and all the little mushrooms that Luna brings to life or whatever, and they talk and stuff like that. That's honestly peak. That's some of the shit that I look for in anime. It makes anime so much better when we have characters like that, little fun things going on like that. Um, but I honestly really hope that she's able to finally have a relationship with someone. That way she's not lonely all the time. Like she needs like human contact other than, the crow familiar or whatever the hell he's got going on. But she needs someone that kind of cares about her, I guess. I feel like, And so far this show's pretty okay. Like I'm enjoying it. Kind of curious how like the romance will happen because we've only seen like a little bit of like romance in this show, and then it kind of just stopped. Because obviously things happened that wasn't good. I'll just leave it at that. But this is listed as a romance. I think it's listed as a romance or rom com. I forget which one. So there has to be romance in this. As a pretty big plot for it to uh be listed as that, you would think. So this is not a must watch, I don't think, but it is a pretty decent show so far. I think that if you just like romance or you like uh stories about witches or like maybe cute romances, I don't know, like about lonely witches or something, like I think it's worth watching. Even wait, wait and let it cook a little while and see what's up with it. I don't know. So, but as of right now, I'm really enjoying this one. It is on the lower end of things, I think, but I still have it like at an 8 right now, so it's still pretty good. So the next show I got is Hana Kimi. And this one is like it feels like an old school shojo romance, and I absolutely love when shows feel like that because some of my favorite romances are like the old school shojo style romances. Um, but honestly, this one is like funny as hell. It's honestly top 3 funniest shows of this season. And I think the what it's fighting with is Timon's B side. Like this Hana Kimi and Timon's B side are like always fighting for number 2 and number 3 spot. They go back and forth all the time, which one's funny or whatever. So, but anyways, the main girl in this, she moves to Japan because she loves a high jumper. She then enrolls in the same high school as this said high jumper. I think his name's Sano. The only problem is with enrolling at this school, it's an all boys school. And she's a girl, so she has to pretend to be a boy. And honestly, that's funny as hell. Because watching her try her best not to be figured out by all the other boys and stuff like that is pretty funny. She gets put in a lot of situations where like you're like, oh shit, they're gonna find out. Whatever, it's gonna be hilarious. I thought that it would last longer, like on her not being found out. But like the first episode and maybe part of the second episode, there's already like 2 or 3 people that know that she's a girl already, and they just don't like. It's crazy, bro. It's so funny. How she is still going around trying to act like a boy, and some people know that she's a girl, and like it's just so many awkward moments and stuff like that. And it's fun to like we even get like a kissing scene. I'm not gonna tell you who was kissing who and all that stuff, but we got like a kissing scene early on, so that's always a fun time in a romance, right? Is when we get those kissing scenes. So I wasn't expecting it at all either. So, but the other side of the story is like the high jumping side, right? Sano, he quit high jumping because of an injury, and even though he's healed back up from his injury, he's still not able to high jump as good as he should be able to, and that's because like his mentals, like his mindset or whatever, like it's in his head. And I like how they're like exploring that a little bit, because that's things that happen, when you have an injury, and sometimes you can't come back from that, like you used to be, and it takes a lot of work to get past that, in your head, like that roadblock in your head. and so it's fun seeing that being shown in an anime, especially about high jumping. But then we also got like a little deadline thing going on too, which just makes the tension and stakes a little bit higher. So I won't get into much detail with that, but I think that this is gonna be a fun little rom com. I'm glad this finally got adapted, and maybe we'll get more seasons after this too. I would really love that, but I think that if you like romance shows, rom coms, and specifically, especially if it's you like those older school stuff. I think this is a must watch. Just if you like that sort of stuff. So because it's so fun, like I said, it's hilarious as hell. And I can't wait to actually see how things happen on the romance side of things. So now we have In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. And honestly, like the second and third spot for best romances of the season for me is between this one and Polar Opposites. You and I are polar opposites. Because like this, on one hand, is like a really beautiful show, and it's like it's more of like a pure romance, like a romance drama type thing. And you and I are polar opposites. It's more like a rom com. It's kind of the same, but it's not. But like this is such a beautiful show, and like I think that it fits it perfectly because like this should be beautiful because like the female lead and the male lead, the main two characters, like they're supposed to be like beautiful princess. They're both princess. Like I honestly love stories like this because we get to see, one of the princess of school, the female main character, Yoi. She's always been treated like the prince. And she actually finally gets to meet someone that is willing to treat her like a princess. Like she's actually a girl. So that's always cool that's always fun when we get to see situations like this in a romance. So, and the one that found her and is, got eyes on her and is treating her differently is the other prince of the school. And he's honestly like perfect. There's just no other way to put it. Like he's just perfect. He's a white haired dude. He's hot. He's pretty. And he's like super nice. He's very thoughtful. He kind of listens to Yori's requests as best as he can. And honestly, like you couldn't ask for a better male character, main character, male lead. They're just like a perfect fit for each other in my opinion, and they're both so beautiful. The show's so beautiful. Like I said, it's just a great time. And this one, we don't have to wait for them to start dating either. And I love when this happens because even though I love slow burns, it's refreshing to see shows like this and Polar Opposites and even Invisible Man, where like the relationship kind of gets established early on and they start dating and stuff. Because like it's fun to see the relationship grow from the get go instead of like the whole goal being to be in a relationship. We actually get to see the process of the relationship. And that's fun to see sometimes too, especially when you get a lot of these slow burns where, maybe on the last episode or of season 1 or even in season 2 sometime they finally ask each other out or confess or something like that. These shows and like a few shows this season, like it starts early and I love that. So, but with all that being said, like I said, this is a great romance. I think this is a must-watch romance. especially if you love romance and stuff like that, because like it's just so good. Like everything's beautiful. This is like a perfect show so as far as romances go. So like I said, I'm trying not to talk about too many details. I'm just trying to keep it kind of vague in some ways and keep the spoilers kind of light. So, but go check this out. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. It's totally worth it. You won't be disappointed. Trust the process. Trust in me. Trust in Tyler. So, speaking of trusting in Tyler, I want to be very clear that this show right here is a must watch that I'm fixing to talk about. And it is also my number 2 new show of the season. And you may expect it to be something, more popular, but this is actually something that not a lot of people are watching. And I feel like people should check it out because this is so good. And that is Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind. Like I said, this is my number 2 show of the season, new show of the season. And like, you might be wondering like, why is it so high? Like, it looks very simple. It looks not good or whatever. Like if you look at the cover, like it's, not the best cover or whatever. But let me assure you, it may be simple. The cover may be, lacking, but this is funny as hell. And Doe, which is the little girl, the little demon princess daughter or whatever, the Demon King's daughter, Doe, she's legit one of the best characters of the season. She's so precious, and she should win Must Protect at all costs next year. So that's how good this is. I doubt she will, because that's Anya's spot or whatever. But like, I would be disappointed if I didn't see Doe Sama up in that list too, because she's such a good character. And like I said, this is one of my top funny shows of the season. It's number 1. I'm just smiling the whole time I'm watching this, laughing, chuckling. Sometimes I've laughed so hard I've cried. Like I legitimately think that this is the nicest Demon King I've ever seen in anime. It sort of reminds me of like Fluffy Paradise, but with demons instead. Because like Doe, the demon's daughter or whatever, she legit just makes friends with everything and everyone and just anything at all. Anything that has a chance at being friends with her, she's friends with them. It doesn't matter if they're evil, she makes them not be evil just with one look. So it's great. And honestly, like some of the best moments in this series is when you're watching Jahi, which is like the assistant or whatever, that's like over making her a true demon or whatever. Like she's the one that's trying to like get her to be a true demon and quit being so kind. And like she's just trying her best, and like she's fighting against everything. She's fighting against all odds. Like the Demon King, which is her dad, he's literally just an enabler for all her good intentions, for her kindness. And it's so funny. Like he's like, I want her to be, a true demon. I want her to be mean to humans and all this stuff. And then she goes and gives humans like paper or some shit, paper and a pencil and stuff, so they can make wishes to Santa Claus and stuff. And like he's just so happy and proud of his daughter. It's so funny. It's so good, man. They also do these little songs and like skits like every episode. I don't know if it's every episode, but it's like very often. Like it's every other episode or every episode. I don't know which one, but it reminds you of like a little skit or scene or whatever of like like from a kid show or whatever. and it's honestly so good. I would say that honestly would say that this is a must watch. I did say it was a must watch, but obviously I know a lot of people are gonna like see this and just pass on it instantly just because like it's a slice of life comedy type show. But I swear to y'all, this is so funny. And then if you're into like slice of life or comedy or anything like that, uh, then trust me, like you need to watch this. You will be laughing your ass off. Like Doe actually reminds me so much of like an Anya type character, but she's just much more sweeter and much more precious. And like I said, this reminds me of like Fluffy Paradise so much, except for I think this is better than Fluffy Paradise, like by 100, honestly, because it's about demons, man. Like it's so good. So, with that being said, like I said, go watch the Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind. It's on Crunchyroll. Go watch that. Let me know how you like it. I promise y'all it's great. It's peak. It's peak comedy. The next show I got is The Invisible Man and His Soon to Be Wife. This show is basically a cute little romance show. We have two adults, by the way, adult cast. They work in the office or whatever too, like a detective office. So we got a blind woman and an invisible man. And they're legit a perfect match. Like just from like their personalities and like their I guess their disabilities, I guess you could say. I don't know if Invisible Man would be a disability or not, but it's definitely harder to I guess relate to Invisible Mans in this world. Because like they get like, you know, people don't really pay much attention to them or whatever, right? And so I think it's pretty cool that you have a woman that can't see and a man that cannot be seen, you know, falling in love with each other. Like that's just perfect in my mind. And like the mangaka was like, they was cooking. They was literally cooking when they wrote this shit. Um, and like we already know, obviously, like that these two are gonna get together because it's called The Invisible Man and His Soon to Be Wife, obviously. So it's gonna happen. And I loved it, like it happened so soon. Like we got dating. They started dating in episode 2 or whatever. It was so cute. Shizuka's voice actor, which is the blind woman, she's so good, man. Like she's a master at making like cute, weird little sounds. Uh, and it's just so good. And I looked her up because I was like, I gotta know who this is. And it's actually Yuka Nukui. If y'all didn't know who that was, if y'all don't know who that is, it's the same voice actor that played Yoshida from Yano-kun last season. And like I absolutely loved her performance in Yano-kun. She was one of the best of the year in my opinion. And she's honestly cooking again. Like they picked a perfect character for Shizuka in this one. So as of right now, like this is my top new romance of this season because it's just so cute, man. Like it's got really cool, good characters. They're adults and they're just so cute to watch. Like I'm grinning all the time that I'm watching. I'm so happy for Shizuka, so much, so happy. But yeah, this is definitely a must watch, especially if you like romances, especially if you like adult cast, and it's got like a lot of cute couple moments. I love it so much. It's also got a little bit of drama in there because this is a detective show, so you won't get bored by just like the cheesy, cute romance scenes. So, speaking of romances, let's move on to one of my other top romances of this season. Like I said, Invisible Man, In a Clear Moonlit Dusk, and this show, you and I are polar opposites. they're like my favorite. They're my top romances of the season as of right now. And honestly, like this, if it wasn't for In the Clear, Moonlit, Dusk, and this kind of go back and forth between the second and third spot, I feel like this is gonna pass up, you know, even Invisible Man at some point because it's just perfect, man. Like the art style, the animation, the voice actors, like even the music, man. Like they're all perfect for this show. And this has like a pretty decent sized supporting cast too, and like all of them are pretty nice people, and like I can't wait to actually see like kind of more about them, you know, because we'll get it eventually, probably, hopefully. But it's always fun to see like big supporting cast or what a big friend group or whatever. That's usually a good sign, especially especially when they're like nice people, because like sometimes like let's just say Suzuki, she's a very popular pretty girl, and Tani is like the opposite of her, like the loner dude that barely talks. And sometimes when you get like a situation like that, a couple like that, you know, there's been plenty of times where there's backlash from this sort of relationship happening, being established, from like the friend groups or like other people in a school or whatever. And so it's kind of cool to see that they're all like instantly on board with it, and like they're treating him very nicely and all that stuff. Like there's no jealousy anywhere. Like it's such a fun show. And they're acting like they've been friends all along. It's so good, man. Um, this is also one of the shows that where I cannot decide. I literally cannot decide whether I want to watch it in Japanese subbed or English dubbed. Like because the dubbed is so good, just because of Suzuki's voice actor Celeste Perez. She's doing a banger job. Like she totally fits Suzuki's chaotic energy, and like I think that the dubbed is better on for like Suzuki's case, but I think I like the subbed better overall. But the dubbed Suzuki is so good. Like it matches her energy so well. Like y'all don't even know. Like if you're not watching this, you need to be watching this. It's so good. Even if you watch it dubbed, like I said, the dubbed is great. Um, and like this brings me to the best part of the show. And that's Suzuki, the main character, the pink haired girl. She's such a fun character, and she'll probably end up being one of my top characters of the year, my favorite characters of the year, because like she's so like you just never know what she's gonna do or say, and like they go crazy with the little like reaction animations. I want to say like chibi things, but it's not all chibi. It's like they do a bunch of different unique things with her character when she's like reacting a certain way or whatever. So it's pretty cool. But she's just a little ball of like chaotic energy, and I love it. I love characters like her. Um, but like I said, her and Tani, their personalities are polar opposites. You know, get it? You know, you and I are polar opposites. Um, so that kind of makes this show pretty interesting too, because we get to see like the dynamics of how this relationship works, especially since neither one of them has dated before, I don't think. And they're trying to figure it out, trying to figure out how to date each other, trying to figure out how to be on the same level as each other, I guess you can say. So, while being totally different than each other. So that being said, like you gotta watch this. This is a must watch. Like if you're a big fan of romance or rom coms, like I said, you need to be watching this. You probably already are watching this. If you don't know about this, then you should check it out. It's on Crunchyroll. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely a must watch. It's just so funny. It's hilarious. It's beautiful. It's perfect. And I think it's gonna be one of the top romances of the year. So, Speaking of another romance, or rom com, is what it says, anyways. And we got Timon's B side, and guess what? Sayori Hayami is back, y'all. And to no one's surprise, she's killing it like always. Like she's just going to town over here. She's doing work. And she honestly makes this show so much funnier than it even has any rights to be. Like her character in this show, it sort of reminds me of like April Showers and her character of Hana, because like there's like a lot of overreaction moments and yelling and like weird noises, and she's honestly mastered that kind of shit. Like it's so good. Like I'd much rather have Sayori Hayami acting like Hana or acting like Kinoshita in this than I would like her, being her quieter Rose or whatever. So, like I said, it's such a fun show, and it honestly has a pretty cool perspective. Being like the super popular center stage idol, Tamon. He has like a B side, which is called Gloomy Horror by Kinoshita, which is pretty funny in itself. But Kinoshita, she's like a super mega fan of Tamon, and she just so happens to be like a housekeeper. And then she just so happens to luck into being Timon's housekeeper. So that's how we get to see this other side of Tamon, because we've only seen him on the stage as an idol. So, but yeah, this is just a all around fun show. Like I said, it's top 3 funniest show of the season, depending on the week. And this show, it is about idols, too. So they've done a couple songs so far, and they've actually been pretty good. I've enjoyed them, like the couple performances that they did early on or whatever. It was pretty decent. So I enjoyed that. Also like how they're doing like other fun idol things. We got like some TV stuff with the groups. Like it's kind of showing us how like what idols are expected to do, or like what they do, like the clips that they make, and it's just a bunch of different fun things. So and I honestly hope to see more of the other idols. I know we've only gotten to see like Tamon and one other dude, and there's like 2 or 3 more I think there is. So I kind of hope that we get to see like their backstories, like kind of what they're about too. I think that would make it a lot more interesting. So, but I'm assuming like maybe the romance is going to be between Tamon and Kinoshita. I don't know yet. The romance hasn't really started blooming yet, I guess you could say. It hasn't started happening yet, but I would assume that would be the one. Or it could be a harem. I don't know. You just never know. It's called a rom-com though, so who knows how that goes. There might not even be in a relationship established. It might just be all for jokes. Rom-coms are funny, so. But anyways, like I said, if you're a fan of idols or even Sayori Hayami, or like I said, rom-coms, romances, like I think this is pretty close to a must-watch. It's like not a must watch, but I think that if you're into any of those things, that it is a must watch. It's right down the borderline. It's a pretty good watch. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. I think it'd be worth it. I think it's funny enough to see what's up with it. So, all right, now we got we're almost done with the new shows. We got Fate Strange Fake. And I'll start this one out by saying that I've never watched any of the Fate series before. I think I'm able to comprehend what's going on in this show. Like I'm assuming that I'm probably missing some callbacks and probably would understand some characters a little bit better. I'm sure, but honestly, without like the prior knowledge of like Fate Strange Night or Fate Zero, I forget. I forget what people are saying you need to watch or whatever. But without seeing any of the previous works from Fate, I think that this show is still pretty good. I think that as long as you understand the concept of like the Holy Grail Wars that Fate does, then you'll probably be fine. It's kind of been setting up a lot of different stuff so far this season. It seems like it's going to be a very intense battle, or Holy Grail, you might say, very soon. Um, and honestly, I've watched like 4 or 5 episodes. I forget how many, but like so far, it's making me actually want to check out the Fate series because this has been actually pretty cool so far. The whole concept is really cool. And this is like in the United States or whatever, right? This series right here is set in like Snowfield or whatever the hell it's called. But like what's really making it like so good for me is like the characters, and there's like a lot of fun different characters, different styles of characters, and like they like the designs for them like kind of go hard. We got like knights or whatever, and then we got like barbarians, and then we got like little, I don't even know what to call that one girl. She's like just a crazy chaotic girl. I don't know, magician or some shit. I have no idea. She's fun though. But I think that I would say that this is a must watch. Especially if you like, fighting and stuff, and just a good show in general. But like, I understand that some folks are probably gonna want to watch, the few prior Fate series that you probably should watch before you check this out. But like, I feel like that you can get by without watching those things, as long as you know kind of some of the setup of like how a Holy Grail war works. So it's up to you, honestly. But if you've seen Fate before, or if you haven't, I think it's still a pretty close to a must watch as you can get. So next up, I got Shiboyugi, playing death games to put food on the table. And I just recently started watching this. Actually, I watched all the episodes, all 4 or 5 episodes, like 3 or 4 days ago or something like that, because I wasn't even gonna watch this, to be honest. Like, I've watched shows like this before, or death game shows, or similar vibes or whatever, and they just never hit for me. Because like when I watch stuff like this, I want it to be like that darker version, like of the death games or whatever. Like, I want it to have like higher stakes. I want people to actually die if they mess up. And like you can think about some like real life, like I say real life, but like some TV shows, non-animated TV shows, or movies that are kind of what I expect or what I would like out of a show like this. And that's like Saw, y'all remember the Saw movies, like Squid Games, like stuff like that, where it does have like those dark moments. It does have interesting games or whatever, and people do die. It has the higher stakes or whatever. It's just not talking and all that bullshit. Like, there's not a lot of anime that I've seen that is this type of show that do stuff like that. And the ones I've seen from this kind of category have been boring to me. But honestly, after saying all that, like, I'm glad I actually watched this, because it's my number 3 new anime of this season. Because it's actually dark, it's actually interesting, and it actually has stakes, and people do die. Which is what I want. Like, this is the shit I want in a anime like this. Like, I want it to be, I wanted to keep me interested. I want it to be dark. I want it to be, I want people to die, all that stuff. I want the stakes to be high. So, and like, there's honestly, like, from the new shows this season, this might have one of the best directors. Like, the director in this is actually really good, I think, for the way they treat some scenes, like the way they're setting some scenes up and stuff. I think it's really cool how they're doing it. I think the animation is pretty good too. Like, there's a lot of artistic choices, I feel like, in this anime, and they're doing it very good. Like, it just looks amazing. The soundtrack is hitting. Like, it just, the vibes are perfect for this show. And the way they're handling the direction is good too. Like I said, it might be some of the best direction I've seen this season. So, in my opinion, of course. And like, it's pretty unique that, like, when the girls that play these games, like, they can't bleed. That's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting too. Like, when they suffer an injury where blood would normally happen, where they would be bleeding, it's like they bleed, their blood, like, it turns into like cotton or stuffing, coming out instead of blood. So it's actually like brought up. There's like an sort of like an explanation brought up too, where we don't know if it's true or not. But Yuki, the main character, she says that she thinks that the reasoning for, there not being any blood, and that it being like the stuffing stuff or whatever, is because, like, apparently there's people watching them play these games, and like, they apparently, like, you don't just win these games, you try to earn points or something, like style, kind of like style points, I guess, like doing stuff, doing certain stuff, like, gets you more points or some shit. I don't know. She's got some kind of weird, like, hypothesis going on, some theories going on about, like, what's going on behind the scenes and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. So that in a way kind of reminds me of, like, the Squid Games, right? Because, like, they had, like, rich people, betting on and watching the games and stuff. So I'm very interested in how that situation plays out, because, like, I want to know, like, actually what's going on now. And I think this is a must watch. Like I said, it's my number 3 new show of the season, and I know that it might not be for everyone due to the type of content that it actually is. But if you enjoy, like, the darker shows like Saw or Squid Games, like I mentioned, I think you would enjoy this. Like, it's nowhere close to being boring, and it's a show that I just couldn't stop watching once I started watching it, because it's just so interesting seeing how all these death games play out. Like, how will they live this time? How will they survive these games? Who's going to work together? Who's going to get out? All this sort of stuff. So it's pretty interesting watch. Like I said, definitely a must watch. I think it's very interesting, if you can handle those types of things. Now, going my last new show of the season, we got Love Through a Prism, and this is on Netflix. I think it's also known as Prism Rondo, and I just watched this right before I started recording. I only got to watch 2 episodes, but, like, I really enjoy it so far. Like, it has, like, super high potential to be one of my favorite romances of the season, maybe even my favorite. I don't know. But, like, I'll have to let it cook a little bit more, since I've only seen 2 episodes so far, because, like, the romance hasn't really started just yet. I guess it's setting it all up as of right now through 2 episodes. It's a 20 episode first season. So like I said, it'll take a little bit for them to set it all up and let it cook a little bit. So, but this is a show that I was actually talking about, in our spring and our winter preview or whatever. The show is from the same mangaka as Hana Dango, which is Boys Over Flowers, if you didn't know. And that's actually in my top 10 anime. I love Hana Dango. I love it so much. But even though I love it, I have faith in this show being a good show, but it's not the same vibes as Boys Over Flowers. You're not gonna get. I don't think you're gonna get like that delinquent, problematic romance like you did in harem romance, like you did in Boys Over Flower or whatever, right? Instead, like this is like about a Japanese woman named Lily, who seems to be an adult. I think that she's an adult and she like moves to London to go to a prestigious art school, kind of like a college, I guess. And this is set in like the early 1900s, which is pretty interesting to see like how the world is and like all the cultures and stuff going on in the 1900s. It's pretty cool to see. They do a pretty decent job at like making it feel like it's the 1900s. So, anyways, she has 6 months to become like the number one artist in this school, or she has to go back home and take over her family's shop, pretty much. But she ends up meeting like several people in the art school, including a blonde guy named Kito Church, I think it is called. His name is. And like I said, the romance hasn't really started happening yet. But I think it's gonna be coming soon. I think you just gotta give it a little bit more time, and I'd be willing to bet that it's gonna be between Lily and Kit. That's just it could totally throw a curveball at me, but I'd be willing to bet it's Lily and Kit. That's going to be the relationship that we focus on, probably. Like I said, I could be wrong, but there's actually a lot of interesting things happening besides the romance part, because we got like the deadline. We got the deadline happening. We got like all the art stuff happening, and then like I said, the romance is being cooked into it. And I think all that will make this a very good show. And like this show is done by Wit Studios, by the way, and it looks great. It looks gorgeous. And I think it has to look that way. Like it has to look really good because like this is a show about art, like art paintings and like art school, and it has to look good, and it does. Like it looks really good, and like the paintings and stuff look phenomenal. They're so beautiful. And I'm expecting to see a lot of pretty outdoor scenes and stuff like that as they're like drawing, painting stuff. I said Witch Studio is doing an amazing job. But all 20 episodes are on Netflix. People seem to really love it. It's highly ranked on MAL already. I've only watched 2 episodes so far, but I feel like this is a must watch, especially if you like romance or even drama. I think this is like a pretty good mix of those things. But if you like watching shows about art, sort of like Blue Period, I think that you would love this too, because I immediately thought about Blue Period when I seen the art and like paintings in this show, because it reminded me of how like it was so good that it reminded me of like what we seen in like Blue Period, because Blue Period, like the art pieces and stuff was just so beautiful, and that's what this show reminded me of. So can't wait to see what it cooks up though at the end of the day. I'll probably actually binge this over the weekend, because like the first 2 episodes that I watched just before I started recording this, it felt like it was 10 minutes long, even though like they're 20 minutes a piece. And so that's how good it was at first. Fun characters. Lily's a fun character. Kit's a very, uh, you know, unique character, I'll say. Then you got a couple more fun characters, which is pretty cool to have. So, but that's all for my new shows of the season. I'm like I said, I'm gonna talk about some of the sequels real quick, but I'm not gonna go too deep into them. I'm just gonna talk real briefly about them because like they're sequels, So the first one being is Frieren. I'm gonna talk about Frieren first because Frieren's obviously the GOAT. She is the best anime this season. And I'm so glad that this back because like when I seen the first episode of this season, like it made me realize how much I actually missed the vibes of the show. Like it's just perfect, man. Like we got the banger soundtrack coming back. We got the animation. It's just as good as what it was in season one. Like Madhouse didn't fall off at all. They went so hard on a demon fight that got low diffed. Like it was actually crazy, and like I didn't expect the animation to go that hard on like a 30-45 second scene. Um, with a low ranking demon that just got shit on. I didn't expect that. But I'm glad it happened because I'm like, holy shit, we're back, boys. Frieren is back. They still, it's still cooking. But like I said, I loved it. Can't wait to see like the higher stake fights where like it's actually tougher. It's actually between like more difficult opponents and stuff like that. Another thing that I missed a lot was like one of the things that Frieren does the best, and that's like the comparisons between the past and like the current times with like all the flashbacks and stuff. And like they still got it. They still know what they're doing. They're still doing the best out here. Like the whole like poison dragon thing and like the flashbacks. That was just a great time. That was a great introduction to Frieren season 2. It was also fun getting to see like another hero. Like I was shocked that there was actually another hero that was like very strong, other than like Himmel and his group. So it was nice learning about like all this lore. I think they've done a really good job at like lore dumping too. Like it didn't feel like lore dumping. It actually felt interesting. It actually felt fun. So shout out to Frieren for just being the best. Can't wait to give this a 10. And we're just a few episodes into the season, even though it's a short season. So, still can't wait to give this a 10. Then we got Jujutsu Kaisen season 3, the Culling Games arc, part 1. And this season, it honestly kind of started off super slow. In my opinion, we got a couple of fighting pieces, but then we got the the slideshow episode, and even though it was a really good slideshow episode, like it was still like a lot of information dumping, but at least they done it better than some people have done it, Slime, for example. But yeah, this is still a good show, in my opinion. But like as soon as we got to the Maki Kill Bill episode, if you know what I'm talking about, this shit went through the roof. Like that episode was like a 10 out of 10, man. And if we get anything close to that again in part 1 of the Culling Games, like we're gonna be eating. But like I said, other than that, like a lot of stuff's been happening, a lot of setup has been happening. So I'll be glad when we kind of get to the hands, because that's the reason why I like JJK so much. I like the hands. I like how anyone can die. It's sort of like Game of Thrones, like anyone can die, even your favorite characters. And so that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm hoping for with the Culling Games. I'm just not sure if part 1 is gonna bring us all of that action, or if we're gonna have to wait till part 2. So I guess we'll see. But excited to see how that all plays out and all that good stuff. So maybe we'll get to see Maki go crazy again. So next we got Oshi No Ko season 3, and this season has been really fun so far. We're getting into like the TV show stuff into Oshi No Ko, like the Chase the Implausible or whatever, the dog TV show that Aqua's on. And like I've read the manga and stuff, so it was pretty fun seeing like this whole like situation that we've seen so far get adapted. I think they've done a really good job. It was like all the cosplay stuff or whatever, like on the show. It's fun seeing Ruby calling like a bunch of the shots to try to get to make it further into the entertainment world or whatever. That way she can kind of unlock more doors and all that stuff. So I think this season's gonna be really fun. I hope that it's gonna be really fun. I know I really like the manga, so I'm hoping that this adaptation for this season is phenomenal. Hope it's anything like last season, because that was like the best season so far. So we got Medalist season 2 now, and I've only watched one episode of this, even though I think there's 2 episodes out, mainly because Hulu sucks. I'll just say that, because apparently it's available everywhere else in the world through Disney Plus, but in the United States we have to wait because Hulu is like, we're gonna wait and release it later, and then you ask them about it and they just don't know when they're going to release it. They just said at a later date. So, who knows why? It doesn't make sense, why it's available everywhere else on Disney Plus, but it's not available for us in the United States. So, but regardless of that, the first episode was great. I have a lot of hopes for this season. Can't wait to watch Inori climb the ranks to the top. That way she can face, her little rival friend or whatever, maybe in the tournaments or whatever. So I think the second season, where I think we'll actually get to see or the second episode that I haven't watched yet. I'm pretty sure that was looking to be like a competition, and like we finally get to see Inori skate maybe. So I'll probably watch that tonight sometime. So hopefully it's good. So far it has been. So then we got My Hero Academia, or My Hero Vigilantes season 2. And like I think that this season starts off a little bit slower than I would like, in my opinion. I know we've had some action already, but honestly I'm not having as much fun with this as I did last season as of right now. The villain is sort of interesting. The villain that we got this time is sort of interesting. It's sort of like a Flash type character. Like they're super fast or whatever, and like they can do shit super fast and think super fast. And like it's assumed that his leader, his boss, is actually a hero. So we might get like a cool like hero to villain type of story going on with that too. It could be very interesting. We also still have like the trigger stuff going on in the background as well. One thing I really like about this season compared to last season though is like we're actually seeing like a lot more of the original heroes than we did in the first season. But there's one person that we're not seeing yet. I think through the first 4 or 5 episodes, we just haven't seen Knuckle Duster, who was really fun last season. Like I really enjoyed seeing Knuckle Duster, and we haven't seen him yet. And like I said, it's been 4 or 5 episodes, so kind of disappointed in that. I'm hoping we get to see him. I'm hoping there's like a reason why we're not seeing him. I don't know. Can't wait to see him though. I think the last sequel I have is Hell's Paradise season 2, and honestly, like when I first started watching this again, I was like, this shit is just as confusing as I remembered. I actually had to go watch like a a quick YouTube video and read some summaries about like what the hell was going on, because like I forgot. Like it's just so confusing. Like I love this show a lot because like it's so weird and unique, and it has like a lot of fighting. Like season 1 was basically like a battle royale on the island or whatever, right? So that was pretty fun. But like they're mixing in like all the mythology and like the history shit, and it just makes it a little bit more confusing than I like, honestly. I think it's good. It's just that when I have to wait a few years, like some of that shit kind of gets, forgot about, especially with a memory like mine. So I really wish that I could have got like a recap like episode or something, to lead us off. Since it's been so long and since we have all these mythology and gods and all that shit going on, all these terms, but we didn't. But I made it through. I think I know what's going on now. I know we definitely got some Jujutsu happening. So that makes it a little bit better, I guess. But for real though, I think that this is really gonna get interesting, really fast, because we have a lot of trouble brewing on like the island, and we got like people coming to the island to create trouble. So honestly, it should be, going hard pretty soon. So, pretty excited about what's coming for that. So, with that being said, though, that's basically it. Like that's all the shows I'm watching. I think it's like 20 shows or something like that. I want to check out that Cosmic Princess Kaguya. It's a movie. I want to check that out. I think there's like one more show that I want to check out, but this is pretty much what I'm watching. And like I said, all of these shows are pretty good. So definitely check them out if they fit your vibes. Check out the must watches. Like I said, there's a lot of must watches in here. Journal of Witch being one of them. Please watch Journal with Witch. It's so good, y'all. Please watch it. But like I said earlier, make sure y'all go vote in the DGs, because in 3 or 4 days, this weekend or whatever, I'm closing it down. And we're gonna have we are recording the DGs next week. Bass will be joining us as the host, and we'll be going over like the DG winners and the listener winners, and just having a good old time, having a fun time. And next week will be the rundown week, obviously, and then the DGs will be releasing for the next DGen episode the week after. So be on the lookout for that. It should be a really fun time. It's always fun to get Bass back. It's always time to bullshit with the boys about, our anime awards or whatever. It's definitely better than Crunchyrolls, which will be coming up in April, I think it is. So make sure y'all give that a listen. But with all that being said, linktree.com/animedegens. Make sure you like the video on YouTube if you're watching right now. Say hi to me in comments. Let me know, what shows that you're liking a lot. If I missed any shows that you think I should be watching or I should check out, make sure you comment that too, because I'm always down for a good time. You know what I mean? So, like I said, linktree.com/animedegens. And I'll see you next week for the rundown. Peace.